Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you? I went ahead and I filmed a new colorful look for you guys. I usually film a really basic, well not film, I usually wear day-to-day really basic soft kind of glam looks, and so I'm just trying to step out of my comfort zone and use some more color for you. So today I am using the Dream Street palette from Colourpop in collaboration with Kathleen, my girl. I love her, and so I created this look for you guys using the beautiful blue shades in here, and so that's what we did. So if you want to see how I achieved this awesome super glowy wearable smoky eye look, then please go ahead and keep watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, and yeah, without any further ado, let's get into this. I got my dogs here in the background, so I don't know, in case you hear some weird noises in the background, it's my dogs walking around, drinking water, eating their food and stuff. So just wanted to give a little disclosure just in case you hear some random little sounds in the background. That's what it is. I also have a window right here to the side that's also open because today is a nice, lovely day in South Florida. We have a nice breeze outside, and so I have the window open so that I don't have to have my AC on or any of the fans on, and it feels nice. So with all that being said, let's jump right into it. So I have already sprayed my face with the Fourth Ray Beauty Glisten Up Mist. This stuff smells like oranges. It smells so nice, and it leaves your face nice and moisturized. Like, my skin feels nice and tacky, ready for makeup. Let's see. So we're gonna use the Dream Street palette, as I said, and I'm gonna first go in with the matte shade up here. Eco Tools Define Crease Brush, looks like this. And I'm going to dip into that shade. Okay, just trying to make sure I'm focused here for you guys to see. All right, so I'm gonna go in with a smaller crease brush. This one is a Luxie 121 mini tapered brush, and I'm gonna use this terracotta shade right here, and I'm gonna use that to kind of add a little bit of warmth and deepen up the crease a little bit. I'm gonna use this Royal Langnickel BOM 40 brush, I believe it's called. I don't even know that you can see that. You can't. But it's this flat brush, and I'm gonna go in with, I think this one is Mermaid Boy down here. This like shimmery blue shade on. Oh wow, that is so pretty. Do you see that? How pretty? All right, so this is what we got going on. I'm gonna use the deep matte blue color in the palette, and I'm gonna kind of do this. Put it in the crease a little bit. Not so much in the crease, I'm sorry, but in the outer V part, just to smoke it out a little bit more. I kind of determined the last minute that that's what we're doing today. So that's what I'm doing. All right, I like where this is at. I'm gonna get a makeup wipe though, so I can kind of clean up. I have these Sugar Rush Coconuts About You Makeup Removing Biodegradable Wipes. These are really nice. They're not overly wet, but they're not super dry either, so I really like them. So quite a lot of fallout. Okay, gotta clean this up right here a little bit. Okay, I'm just getting a clean brush and just blending that out. Okay, so here we are. I am gonna go ahead and go back into that first crease shade, the really, the light neutrally brown, with my Luxie 229 tapered blending brush, and I am going to kind of soften up the edges of where I laid down that blue. And I'm gonna go back in a minute with that deeper kind of terracotta shade in a second as well, and do the same thing. I just rather would like to start with like the lighter shades first when I go in with blending, and then go in with those deeper shades. All right, now I am gonna go ahead and use my finger to pick up that shinier blue, not shiny, but metallic blue shade. Okay, oh, look at how pretty it is. And I'm gonna use this, just my finger, to tap on the product instead, because I feel like we're gonna get a nicer color from it. Like we'll get more of the true pigmentation from tapping it on as opposed to the brush. I should have done this before, but I hate having to use my fingers for products, but sometimes they really do work the best. All right, I'm gonna leave it there for now. Sometimes you kind of have to do the rest of the face before you can go in and assess the situation. So as of right now, I have only used that Dream Street palette, and that's it. All right, so I'm just cleaning up again. And I am gonna go ahead and use my eye cream a little bit to put underneath my eyes, since I did just wipe off all of the moisture that I had under there. So I'm gonna go in with my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealing Pot. I have the shade Medium, and I like to use this with my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe brush. I use the concealer side of it, and I just kind of dip into here. You can see I've used quite a lot of that. I'm gonna just dip in here and put that in my dark circles. I don't put a ton because I am gonna go in with the CoverGirl concealer soon, but I do like to do like a first layer of this, kind of tap this in, and then I'll use the other larger buffing side to kind of blend it in. So now for foundation, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I have a little like metal palette here. Say hello to you. I have a little metal palette, and I'm going to mix together my Pacifica foundation. I'm gonna put a little bit of that. This is a little bit more of a matte formula, and I have said 1,000 times that I'm a very dry girl. So I'm going to mix a little bit of that with some of this Tarte Rainforest of the Sea oil. It's not very greasy. It is definitely an oil, but it sinks into the skin pretty good. So I usually, if I'm going to mix an oil into my foundation, I typically will use that one because it doesn't leave me super greasy. Now I'm just gonna take a random brush, the back end of it, and mix it in. If you get just drier skin during certain times of the year, like especially now in the fall and winter time coming up, if you get drier skin, mixing in a couple of drops of a face oil, depending on how dry you are, mixing in a couple of drops into that foundation will definitely help moisturize it a little bit more. And that way you don't have to buy like a winter foundation and have like a summer foundation. Just an idea. So I'm gonna go in and do this, and I'll be right back. So we're back. This is what the foundation looks like so far. Keep in mind, I do still have to put concealer, so I am gonna go ahead and do that now as well. But I wanted to, for you guys to be able to see what it looks like before I put the concealer. It looks nice and radiant. Again, that's the look I'm going for. I want very radiant, I want very dewy, so that's what we're doing. I'm gonna put my concealer on, I'm gonna blend it out, and then I will be right back. All right guys, so this is what we look like as of right now. Again, foundation, concealer, we're good. I have not set anything yet because I wanted to go ahead and incorporate some of my cream products today. So first I'm gonna go in with some bronzer. This is my Milk Makeup bronzer. It is in the shade Baked, and it is a cream stick bronzer like this. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this Morphe Y9 brush with it. And I don't like to like stripe it on my skin first. I like to use a brush, kind of really get it going onto my brush, and then from my brush, go in to my face. So I first like to kind of like stamp it on. And you see that it's really nice and soft, even though you saw that I kind of like dug in there. But it is kind of a more soft, natural looking product. And so I'm gonna just go ahead and bronze up using this, and that's it. All right, so we are all nice and bronzed. I went ahead, put it on my cheeks, around my forehead, a little on my nose, and kind of, you know, the jawline to kind of get some definition in there. And now I'm gonna go in with some highlight. I like to do my highlight before I put my blush so that once I put my blush on top, it kind of blends in the highlight a little bit more so that you don't have like a streak of highlight across your face. And again, we're using some cream products today. And so I am gonna go in with my Farsali Jelly Beam highlighter in the Rose Goals. This is what it looks like on the back. I don't know if you could tell. It's not focusing, but that's what it is. It is the Farsali. It's so pretty. It is very much like a jelly. It's like thick in there. And I like to go in, I'm gonna just use the back of my beauty blender. And you see, that's a lot right there. I'm gonna just kind of wipe off a little bit and then tap it on to the high points of my face. Really nice, soft and natural. I believe she has a second color, and that it's not just this one shade. I'm not sure what the name of the other shade is. It's beautiful though as well. But I believe the other color is more for like a lighter skin tone. And I do like to kind of bring it up around the brow as well. Start blending it out. It's still nice and soft and glowy, but it's not as like wham in your face, you know? So you do just gotta take a minute to kind of blend it out, and it gives you a nice, really soft, pretty glow. All right, this is where we're at. This is 2 layers. Still really soft, still really natural looking in my opinion. Don't come for me. If this is not a look that you're interested in, then you pick and choose the parts of this video that you would like to incorporate in your own life. But you know, to each their own, right? I like to go full ass, not half ass. I am going to use my Flower Bomb blushes here. These are cream blushes. They're so pretty. I'm going to mix the shade Melon with the shade Nectar. This one's really beautiful, probably for a deeper skin tone because it is pretty much that same color. I mean, obviously you can always go in with a much lighter hand, but I like to mix them a little bit and still go in with a little bit of a lighter hand. So I'm gonna mix them on that same little metal palette. You see, that's more or less the shade. And then I'm gonna just kind of, I'm gonna use that same bronzer brush that I used, the Morphe Y9 brush. I'm gonna use the same brush to blend it, but I am gonna go ahead and kind of like dot this a little bit on my cheek and then use my brush to just kind of stamp it in and blend it out. And you see that as shocking as the color may have looked, once you start to kind of blend it out, it looks really nice and soft and dewy is what I love. I really like where it's at right now. You see the highlight is still very much there, looking very nice and natural. Doesn't look overly highlighted. Again, in my opinion, this might be too much for some people, but to each their own. So I'm done using my powder, my cream products. I'm gonna go in and use my Fenty powder. This is in the shade Butter. I'm gonna use my Fenty powder to go ahead and set my under eyes. I am using my same brush as always, my Real Techniques set and spotlight brush. And so I'm gonna dip in and kind of swoop again, and I will be right back. All right, so this is where we're at. Again, I just use it to set underneath my eyes, smile lines, a little bit around my chin, and a tiny little hair on in between my brows. I am gonna go in with my Smashbox Halo Powder and my Eco Tools Full Blush Brush, and I'm gonna use a little bit of this powder. I don't wanna set my whole face, but I do wanna set a little bit more towards my forehead area, a little bit on my nose, and just kind of a little bit in the center of the cheeks. And that's basically it. Actually, because this powder is pretty light, I'm gonna go ahead and put the tiniest amount. Again, I have some here. I'm tapping it off a lot so that there's no excess powder on the brush. Or not a ton of powder on the brush rather. And I'm gonna just put a little bit kind of in the bronzer area because I do wanna put a hair bit of bronzer on afterwards. And I am just barely tapping this on. And the reason why I'm doing this is more so that when I put any powders on top now, it doesn't look like choppy, and it'll glide on nice and smooth. I have decided that for underneath my eyes, I want to use that deeper kind of terracotta shade. And so I'm gonna take my Morphe Y18 brush, dip that in, tap off and then just go underneath the eyes. All right, this is what we have. I'm gonna go in with a slightly smaller brush. This is the Accent Shadow Brush from Eco Tools, and I am going to deepen up a little bit on the outer parts of the lower lash line with the darkest brown shade in this palette. This is where we're at. Now I am going to use from this palette, again, I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not trying to embarrass myself on the internet anymore. So I'm gonna use this palette and use the shade up here on the top right of it. That is one of my favorite colors, I believe. Again, I believe it's called Flasher. And so I'm gonna use that with my e.l.f. contour brush. It's not really a contour brush as much as it is a dome brush, but it works perfectly. This is my favorite inner corner highlight brush. And so I'm gonna tap into that and put it in my inner corners. All right, this is what we look like. I'm living for it. I think it's so, so, so pretty. And okay, so I'm gonna go in with my Morphe Y4 brush, and it is kind of like an angled blush brush. And then I have like a little Z palette from Colourpop, and I'm gonna go into this shade. I was gonna put in some bronzer, but I do actually wanna use this instead. This is a Kathleen Lights collab, of course, because does Kathleen make anything that I don't purchase? Probably not. And this is the shade So Retrograde. It's part of her collab with Colourpop, as I mentioned. And so I'm gonna go in with that. A very light hand. I'm gonna tap into it, and then, as always, tap off the excess. That shade is very pigmented, but it looks so beautiful on the cheeks. And because it is kind of like a more satin hair of shimmer of a shade, it's gonna give a nice pretty sheen on the cheeks. So I don't want to put too much of this. I just want more of the sheen with a hair of the color of it. So it looks like I have a lot on the brush. So I'm gonna tap off some on my arm just so that it's not too strong. And I'm just going to just tap a little bit of that onto my face. And you see that it does give a wash of color with a hair of that sheen. I'm gonna leave it at that. However, I am gonna go in with my highlighter brush. This is a Wet n Wild brush. It doesn't have a name, but it's kind of like, they look like this. They're kind of like, they kind of come to a point, and it's kind of like a dome brush. It's got a longer bristle up here, so it's very nice and soft. And I'm gonna go in with my highlight shade up here. You can see I love it. It's called First Prize. And so I'm gonna use that to highlight the tops of the cheekbones, because again, we wanna look like we are glowing to the gods. That is my look all the time. That's my goal every day. And so we're gonna dip into that and then hit the top of the cheekbones just a little bit. You see that? That's what we're going for right there. We want to be beaming. I know that some people don't like to highlight because they think it makes you look sweaty. I can understand that, but for a dry girl like me, we want to look a little sweaty. I don't like to sweat, but I like to look like I have a little bit of, you know, a natural glow. And that right there is what I'm going for. So I always hit the top of the eyebrows with my highlight and bridge of the nose, like I mentioned before. And then just with whatever is left over on the brush here, I'm just blending. Just again, so we don't have like a really harsh line of where the highlight starts and ends. And I'm gonna go back in to that blush brush that we used before. I'm not dipping it into the blush, but I am gonna kind of very quickly make sure that there's nothing left on it. And you see nothing is coming off really on my hands. And I'm just gonna tap over it just to make sure. And I am using my camera as my mirror right now, but I'm just tapping over it just to make sure that there again are no harsh lines. Okay. I am now gonna go in with my Urban Decay Brow Blade. This is my absolute favorite brow product in the entire world. This is in the shade Neutral Nana. I'm gonna do my brows, and then I'm gonna do my mascara. If I could find my mascara, there we go. And then I'm gonna do my mascara with my Pure Fully Charged mascara. This is one of my absolute favorite mascaras ever. I'm gonna put my mascara and then we will come back to do the lips. All right guys, so this is where we're at. Brows ready, mascara on, face glowing, so pretty. So now the last final step is to do some lips, and I've chosen to go in with a Colourpop shade. Mine is all kind of like rubbed off. I feel like this was a collab with I Love Sarai. I don't remember if this was her collab though, but I'm pretty sure. Anyways, the shade is Mija. If it's not from I Love Sarai, it may have been the Becky G collab that they had a while back. Not 100% sure, but anyways, it is a beautiful color, nice nude, because you know I'm basic, and so I'm gonna go in with this shade. I forgot to set my face, so I'm gonna put a little bit more of this Glisten Up face mist. All right, and that completes this look, guys. I really hope you like it. I think it's so pretty. Again, nice, smoky, colorful eye look, but I still think it's pretty wearable. Again, it all just depends on your personal preference, how much makeup you generally like to wear. But I would definitely wear this at any time of the day, really, let's be honest. But obviously, maybe for a nice holiday look, if I'm going out to dinner, you know, on a nice night out or anything like that, I think this would be lovely, so pretty. Again, I was going for a nice, very glowy, healthy, plump skin look, and so that's what I think I have achieved. So if you do like this, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the little notification bell, that way you get a notification every time I upload a video. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below if you liked this, if there's anything you'd like for me to film next, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful day wherever you are. Bye guys.